So for our practice this morning, just thinking about meditative practices. So when somebody has a meditative practice, and it doesn't need to be straight up meditation. It can be yoga or other meditative practices. One of the largest benefits of a meditative practice is that we become responsive versus reactive. So when we are not grounded in ourselves and there's a lot going on around us, we are just pulled by everything going on, and we just start reacting. We start, you know what you do when you react. Maybe you shout, maybe you buy, maybe you eat, maybe you do it all at once, but we become very reactive. And when we find ourselves in a meditative practice, then we get grounded in the present moment, we get grounded in our breath, we get grounded in our body, and we are able to actually respond to what's going around us with clarity. So for our practice today, I really want to invite you into the present moment and into that place of being responsive. This is a time, there's so much going on around us. Everything is changing. Depending on how much or little your life is changing, the world is changing around us. And so to be able to have clarity and to really be grounded in our true self and to make clear choices versus reacting to everything around us is a huge curve, a huge learning curve, a huge thing that's going to put us ahead of the curve with all this change going on around us. So whatever that means to you in our practice, if you have a special mantra or a special intention that you want to set, if you have a special way of being in your body and in the present moment, invite that into this yoga practice. One little special tool we'll use is Chinmaya Mudra, which is where you bring your thumb and index finger to touch, and you curve your fingers into your hand. And then this would be placed down on the earth. Great. And Chinmaya Mudra is the mudra of embodied knowledge. Embodied knowledge, the knowledge that comes when we're in our body, when we're embodied. So I look forward to practicing with you. You can go onto your mats into constructive rest pose. For a constructive rest pose, the knees are bent. We find our hands in Chinmaya Mudra, thumb and index finger touch, gentle fist face down. Let your shoulder blades get nestled into the earth and close the eyes. Begin to find your breath in and out through the nose. As you find your breath in and out through the nose, think of adding a steadiness to it. So it's a slow and steady breath in, a slow and steady breath out. As you begin to find this steadiness in your breath, maybe let your shoulders rest down to the earth a bit fuller. You can soften some of the unnecessary stress in your face, perhaps the jaw, forehead, or eyebrows. And in the privacy of your own home, we can really explore what a full belly's breath feels like, giving our belly full permission to expand and contract with each slow, steady breath in, each slow, steady breath out. In our practice today, invoking embodied wisdom. The wisdom that comes only when we are in the here and the now, in our body, in our breath. Embodied wisdom is the point of clarity, where clear, responsive decisions and choices, actions are made. Hands can stay in Chinmaya Mudra. You can release it at any point. We'll begin to find some soft, gentle movement, beginning by lengthening the right leg down to the earth. Move your right heel as wide as your yoga mat and externally rotate your right leg so your toes will point to the right. And you feel that point of rotation really starting up where the thigh bone meets the pelvis. From here, slow lifts and lowers of the leg about 2 inches up. We inhale as we barely lift the leg up off the earth, and we exhale as we slowly lower it down. Begin to find this slow, steady lift and lower. It's so small. This begins to activate the lowest part of the psoas muscle, which is in the middle of the inner thigh. Good. Now lift the leg a little bit higher, maybe about 6 inches off the ground, and back down. Inhale, lifting, exhale, lowering. You might feel that activation start to crawl up a little bit through that inner thigh. The psoas is what connects our lower body to our upper body. It begins in the low back, travels through the hips and down to the inside of the thigh bone. Good. And now we lift the leg to the height of our bent left knee. Slowly lifting and lowering. And so you might feel that activation all the way up through the hip and even into the low back. We're connecting our body. We're connecting the upper half to the lower half. It sounds silly, but this activation of this muscle is very important for our embodied practice. Keep externally rotating the leg, breathing full, steady breaths. Good. Now the next time you lift the right leg, cross the right leg over to the opposite side of the left knee. We're going to use this right foot just to move the knee over to the right. And this will create a stretch in your left outer hip and your left lower back. Take a couple breaths there, welcoming this sensation. Continue to enjoy that freedom of full belly's breath. Front belly, side belly, and back belly. Good. Bring the legs back to the starting point of constructive rest. We'll then extend the left leg long on the mat, move the left heel as wide as the mat, and externally rotate so your left toes will point to the left. Start that slow lifting and lowering here. Again, we start with, it's barely a lift. It's 2 or 3 inches up and down. The breath stays full and steady. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, lowering. And you might feel that little bit of activation right in the inside center of your left thigh. Now begin to lift that foot a little higher, maybe 5 to 6 inches up and down. Working the external rotation of the leg. Feeling those sensations perhaps crawl up the inside of that left thigh.
And now lifting that left leg as high as the right leg. Exhale, lowering it down, working the external rotation, noticing the sensations. You might feel this all the way up into your left hip, maybe even into the left lower back, as you start to feel that integration of upper body and lower body being united. And the next time you lift the leg, cross the left ankle to the opposite of the side of the right knee, and just use that left foot to guide the knee over to your left. And we'll feel a gentle stretch in the right outer hip, and you might even feel it up into the right lower back. Take slow, steady breaths into the places where you feel these new sensations. Give yourself permission to be in your body. There are so many thoughts to be having. There might be a million distractions happening in your surrounding. Yet you can also stay in your body. Bring the leg back up, legs back into constructive rest. And we'll take just a few windshield wipers, knees side to side. Release mudra if it's still in your hands, and welcome the knees into the chest, knees to chest, moving the ankles and feet, maybe even rocking side to side. Good. Then gently rock over to either side and come up into hands and knees position, all fours. We will be having quite a bit of kneeling today in our practice. So if you have a blanket close by and you wanted to create some support for your knees, go ahead and place that blanket underneath your knees. We'll find our fingers spread wide, wrists under shoulders, and take this right into a nice cat-cow. Inhale, lifting the tailbone, letting then the heart draw forward, just a baby micro lift of the chin. Exhale, tuck your chin, round behind the heart, tuck the tailbone, cat stretch. Inhaling, cow spine. Exhaling to cat spine. Taking this movement with your full steady breath. Notice the sensations. Notice what's occurring in your spine, your hips, your shoulders. Letting your spine come into a neutral spine and sitting back into child's pose for a few breaths, bending the knees, sitting back, long arms. Take a few breaths into the space between your shoulder blades. See if your breath can soften some of the tension you might be carrying in your upper back and shoulders. From child's pose, return to hands and knees. Find a neutral spine so you have a little curve in your low back, a little curve in your neck. From here, we'll extend the right leg long, parallel to the earth. Spinal balance. Rotate your right toes so they're looking down to the ground. The leg is in neutral, maybe extending your left arm forward, thumb to the sky. Take 1 or 2 deep breaths here, feeling your whole body strong, from fingertips to heel, that integration of upper body and lower body. Beautiful. Left hand lowers down to the ground. Now you might choose traditional child's pose or modified child's pose. For modified, we're going to bring the right knee right behind the right wrist and bend the knee. We then walk the left leg back, sitting back towards the heel, left leg is long. We could be on our palms or on our forearms. Now, if you're taking care of your knee or this just doesn't feel comfortable, then take modified child's pose into traditional child's pose and let your left knee come forward, meeting your right knee. Relax your jaw here. Relax the back of the throat and the cheeks. Our jaw hinge and hip hinges are very intimately related joints. Placing hands to the earth as we lift up back into hands and knees position. Take your time. Find neutral spine, natural S shape, and extend the left leg back parallel to the earth for spinal balance. Toes look to the ground. Good. It's just an option. Right hand could extend forward or it could even touch your heart if that feels right for you on this side. Breathe through the integration. Breathe through the strength of upper body and lower body working together. Right hand returns to the earth, and now we'll create symmetry. So if you practice modified child's pose, bring your left knee forward behind your left wrist and walk your right leg straight back. If you chose traditional child's pose, you can come right into your traditional child's pose. We can be on the palms or on the forearms if we're in modified child's pose. Deep breaths here. Feel the sensations that are occurring. And lifting up into hands and knees. From hands and knees, it's yogi's choice, down dog or one more child's pose. Just a few breaths here to stretch the whole body. If you've chosen down dog, check that your feet are not too close, not too far, just a couple inches away from each other. Feel the palms of your hand firm to the earth. Hips up and back, up and back. Walking our feet to our hands, forward fold. Inhale, circle sweeping the arms to the skies. And exhaling, hands to the heart center, mountain pose. Good. Take a few breaths here in mountain pose, feeling your feet to the earth, your crown of the head to the sky. We're going to be moving through some sun salutations using kneeling lunge. So again, if you're taking care of your knees, feel free to place a blanket right across the middle of your mat to support your knee as you lower down to the earth. Finding ourselves in strong mountain pose. Pick up the toes, feeling the arches of the feet engage. Good, relax the shoulders down and back. Lower the toes down. As a collective, let's all exhale together, slow and steady. Inhale, circle the arms to the skies. Exhale, bend the knees, forward fold. In your forward fold, press your hips behind you to bring fingertips to the earth and step the right foot back into lunge, placing right knee to the earth. We place left hand on left thigh and slowly reach the right arm up to the sky. Take some breaths here, feeling that long line all the way up the right side of the body. One more full breath. On your exhalation, Place right and left hand to the earth and step your left foot back into plank or kneeling plank. Inhale as you push the earth away with strong arms. Exhale down onto your belly. Flip the feet, pressing the tops of the feet to the earth. And inhale, cobra, lifting your heart space. Exhale and release. Pressing back into child's pose. Feel the length up and down the spine. From child's pose, we'll lift up into hands and knees and step our right and left foot forward, forward fold, and take a full exhalation and forward fold. Inhale and circle sweep the arms to the skies. Exhale, palms touch in front of the heart. Anjali Mudra. As a collective, let's exhale all the air out together. Inhale and circle sweep the arms to the skies. On our exhalation, forward fold, pressing your hip and gluteal weight behind you, fingertips to the earth. And left foot steps back into lunge and it's delicately placed to the earth. Right hand comes to the right thigh and left arm reaches up to the sky. If you're shrugging up in your left shoulder, relax that shrug of the shoulder. Feel the hips draw forward, breathing here. One more full inhalation. And as you exhale, place both hands to the earth, fingers spread wide, stepping back into plank or kneeling plank, the top of a push-up. Inhale as you hug your arm muscles onto the arm bones. Exhale, slowly lower your heart down to the earth. Lift the feet as you inhale, cobra, lifting and lengthening the spine at the same time. Exhale and release, pressing back into child's pose. Keep the arms long, fingers spread wide. Slowly lifting yourself into hands and knees and stepping your left and right foot forward, forward fold. Check that your toes are looking straight forward. Exhale out all the air and inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale, palms touch and find themselves right in front of your heart space, Anjali Mudra. Taking a breath or two here. The crown of the head is tall, the feet firmly grounded to the earth. Adding on to our sun salute, collectively we'll exhale all the air together, slow and steady. Inhale the arms to the skies. Exhaling into variation of chair pose, pressing hips back, arms forward. Keep the weight in the heels. Feel like your fingertips and your hip creases are trying to get as far away from each other as possible. Big breath here. Exhale, forward fold, fingertips to the earth, and step your right foot back into the runner's lunge, delicately placing right knee to the earth. Left hand to left thigh, and extend those right fingers to the sky. Feel your hips press forward, heart space lift, and we'll take this into a side bend to our left. Feel all that beautiful opening through the right ribs and the right waist. Relax any tension you're carrying in your throat, jaw, or neck. We'll take one more full, complete belly breath in, and then return the spine upright and place palms to the earth. Stepping back into plank or kneeling plank, yogi's choice on where they would like their knees to be, keeping our hips a little lower than the shoulders. Exhale onto the belly, elbows graze the rib cage. Flip the feet and inhale, cobra, lifting the heart space. Exhale, lower down. And now yogi's choice, child's pose or downward facing dog. If you've chosen down dog, Hide your heels behind your ankle creases, noticing if your heels tend to fall in or out. Push the earth away, hips up and back. If you're in child's pose, lift up to hands and knees. As a collective, let's step the right and left foot forward, forward fold. Exhale out all the air. Inhale, circle sweep the arms to the skies. Exhale, hands through the center line of the body. Exhale out all the extra air. Inhaling, arms to the skies. Exhale, variation on chair, hips back, fingers forward. Find your knees over the ankles. So when you look down, you can see your full foot. Feel that strength creeping into the low back. One more breath here. As you exhale, bow forward, fingertips to the earth, and step your left foot back into the runner's lunge. Very lovingly place that left knee down to the earth. Right hand to right thigh, left fingertips straight up to the sky. Kneeling lunge. The hips draw forward, the heart space lifts, and we take that soft side bend now to the right. Leaning to the right, feeling that beautiful lengthening all the way from the left knee through the left fingertips. On your breath in, lift the spine back upright. Then exhale, hands to the earth, stepping back into plank or kneeling plank, yogi's choice. Exhale down onto the earth. Inhale, cobra. On our exhale, we'll stay on our belly, coming into super cobra. So let's place our palms in front of us. Our head can be lifted off the earth. And we'll take super cobra in 3 rounds, progressively adding on. We begin by bringing our knees to touch and our big toes to touch. Toes are tucked under. And start to squeeze your knees together so your inner thighs are hugging inward. Pull those toes towards the shins and lift the knees off the ground, just about 2 inches. I'm sorry, not the knees, lift the toes off the ground. The knees, the thighs stay on the ground, the toes are lifted. So we're feeling a lot of strength up through the center line of the thighs. Take a few breaths here, feel this, be with this. It can be very, very challenging. Notice that sensation of challenge. Toes towards shins, thighs hugging inward. Good, then lower the legs down. Relax the legs for just a breath. For super cobra, it's progressive. So that might be where you choose to stay. We might add the upper body this time. So bring the knees together. Big toes together, tuck the toes under. Really dramatically pull the toes towards the shins and lift the toes off the ground, a little bend in the knees. Hug the inner thighs towards each other. So that's the foundation. The knees might lift softly off the ground, they might be on the ground. Up to you if you want to add goalpost arms. Head, shoulders, arms and hands are all off the ground. We never sacrifice breath for the posture. Find your breath here. Keep hugging the thighs inward, toes towards shins, feeling all those strange new sensations in the body. Perhaps surprised by how challenging this can feel. Good. Stack the hands, lower the legs. Even rest the forehead to the hands for a breath. That was the second round. Here's the third and final round of super bridge, also known as super cobra. I'm sorry, I'm having some word problems today. Third round of super cobra. Let's bring our big toes together and our inner thighs and knees together. Hug them to the center line of the body. Pull the toes towards the shins, bend the knees. Toes are a couple inches off the ground. Work this leg. These legs are the pose, so really work that foundation. Option to add the upper body, goalpost arms. Good. Third and final add-on is when we take a big breath in, we feel how our body lifts away from the earth. On the exhalation, use muscular strength to not lower back down, to keep that lift. We do that 3 to 5 times. A big breath in, we feel the lift of the inhale. On the exhale, we use muscular strength to maintain it. Perfect. And lowering down, crocodile pose, stacking hand over hand, forehead to the hands. Rest here for a few breaths. As you rest here, feel the full earth under your body, under the legs, under the belly, under the chest and arms. Notice what a slow, steady breath feels like here. Embodied wisdom. Embodied wisdom doesn't mean erasing the world around you so that you can be embodied and wise. It's an and. So take on all of your surroundings, regardless of what's happening in your home, the world around you, it's an and. That exists, and we can be embodied and wise. Starting to notice what the two at the same time feel like. Feeling yourself stepping into the role of being responsive. From this position, in your own time, transitioning into either child's pose or down dog, yogi's choice. If you're in child's pose, lift to hands and knees. We'll all step our left foot, then the right foot forward, forward fold. Pausing here in forward fold, a bend in the knees, head, neck, and shoulders hanging heavy. Option to grab the opposite elbow to come into dangling pose for a few breaths. Again, softening through the shoulders. As a collective, let's exhale slow and steady together. And then inhale the arms up to the skies. Exhaling the hands to heart space. Palms forward, mountain pose. We're going to then walk to a wall space if we'd like some support with balancing. We'll be coming into a modified dancer pose. So you could have a chair in front of you, you could bring your hand to a wall, or if you feel steady on the mat, you could practice without the support of the wall. But we'll bring our weight into the right foot. Tone the right, base the right foot, and then bring our hand back and find that left knee. Now, if you do this and you just can't quite meet that left foot, that's fine. Just draw the left heel towards the gluteal, pausing here. Wherever you are, we're just guiding the heel towards the center of the gluteal. Finding the left knee slightly further back than the right. Chest and heart are forward and up. Proud heart space. We're welcoming a release through the left thigh, the front of the thigh, the quadricep and the psoas here. And release back to mountain. Good. Perhaps adjusting so that our left toes are looking forward, left thigh strong. And then we'll bend that right knee and explore taking hold of the right foot or ankle, or just bending the heel towards the gluteal. Your left leg has a baby bend in the knee, never locking out the joint. With the right leg, draw the right knee slightly back. Feel your heart space broad and lifted. Breathing here, full belly breaths in and out. Releasing back to mountain, giving each limb a little shake, the arms and the legs. In mountain pose, find your toes looking forward, heart lifted, and we'll come into stork pose. Left foot is grounded to the earth, and we lift the right knee up into stork pose. It could be right toes on the ground. Take a moment, find your steadiness here. Allow the earth beneath your left foot to support you, to ground you. The right foot is then slowly step back for a warrior one stance. The right toes are on a 45-degree angle. Good. Ground that full back foot to the earth. Then slowly start to bend your left knee, creating that same grounding in your back leg, warrior one. Maybe just practice that one more time, straightening both legs, grounding the back heel, keeping the back heel grounded as left knee bends forward, warrior one, knee over ankle. Good. For warrior one today, explore palms forward, opening the heart space. Find a soft spot on the wall to fix your gaze to. Exploring how slow, how steady your breath can be here. Keep turning your palms away from the body, so they might even look out to the side walls a little bit as we slowly hinge halfway forward. From the hinge, you might choose to bring your left leg to or towards straight, drawing the left hip back. Breathing into this variation of pyramid pose, using spinal strength and arm strength. So perhaps in pyramid pose, you're used to using your hands and kind of relying on flexibility. We're having flexibility and strength right now. Take a big breath in. Exhale, fingertips to the earth. Pivot on your right foot into the lunge and delicately place the right knee to the earth. Right hand or fist can be to earth or block. Left hand to the left thigh. And we press down through the thigh and rotate to the left, revolve lunge. With this left hand, actively pull your knee to the right, over towards the right shoulder area, and draw your left hip straight back. Hips draw forward, breath is full. Finding then both hands framing your left foot, runner's lunge, lifting the right knee, and stepping the right foot forward, forward fold. Shake the head no and nod it yes. Inhale the arms up to the skies then. Exhale, hands to heart center, mountain pose. In mountain pose, right foot is strong, right thigh is strong, and we begin to lift our left leg into our stork pose. Hands are anywhere that bring you balance. It could be toes on the ground or left knee lifted. Good. Explore steadiness with the support of the earth beneath your right foot. Shoulders on the back body. Slow and steady, the left foot steps back for a warrior one stance. The left toes are on a sharp 45-degree angles, pointing slightly towards the front of the mat. Ground that back left foot, draw the right hip back. Good. Now keep that back heel grounded as you bend the right knee. Warrior one legs. Let's try that one more time. Lengthen both legs. Find that back left thigh strong, back left heel firm to the earth. Maintain that strength of the back leg as you bend your right knee, knee over ankle. Palms are forward. Fingers spread wide, like each fingertip is part of the pose. Shoulders on the back body, crown of the head to the sky. Find a spot on the wall and feel your whole body breathing together. Fully embodied. Good. From here, we'll slowly start to hinge halfway forward. Resisting the urge to place your hands on your front leg, we're using spinal strength. And we can start to bring that right leg towards straight, just to wherever feels comfortable, and avoiding a locking of the right knee joint. Keep rotating the palms away from the body. Breathe here, the whole body supporting this variation of pyramid pose. One more full breath here. As then fingertips come to the earth and we pivot on the back foot to come into a runner's lunge, delicately placing left knee to the earth. Left hand is palm to the earth or fist to earth or block. Right hand to right thigh, and we push down on the right thigh to then rotate our ribs. Good. You might deepen the bend of your front knee. Now with this right hand, we're going to push the right leg towards the left shoulder just a little bit. Keep drawing the right hip back. We're just squaring the pelvis, neutralizing the low back when we do this. And then of course, breathing. Take one more long breath in. Exhale into lunge, changing our flow. Right knee meets left knee, kneeling plank. Long, big breath in, and we exhale down onto our belly. Preparing for our locust pose. The tops of the feet are resting on the earth, and the hands come next to the body, palms face down. Double check that the palms are down. Begin to add a little bit of tone to your belly, just a little bit. And then we lift and lengthen legs away from the earth, and then spine and arms. Bring your big toes slightly towards each other until you feel your inner thighs strong. Really thinking of the words lift and lengthen, lift and lengthen. The whole side of the back body is unified in strength, holding your body here. This is locust pose. Stack hands then at the head of the mat, resting your forehead to the hands, resting hands to the earth. Crocodile pose. The next two rounds will be yogi's choice. The option will be half bow pose or returning to locust pose where we just were. For half bow pose, we bend the right knee, take the right hand back, finding the foot or ankle, and we're guiding the heel towards the gluteum, maybe lifting the spine up. So again, if finding that foot just feels really far or that irritates your low back or knee, then I would invite you into a second round of locust pose. Choosing whichever posture is right for you and filling it with breath. Releasing down, crocodile pose. And then switching sides, finding symmetry. If you practice half bow pose, then bend the left knee, take the left hand back and find the left foot or ankle, guiding the heel towards the gluteal, lifting your heart space away from the earth. If you practice locust pose, then return to your third and final round of locust pose. The earth under the belly provides a perfect gateway into embodiment, feeling the breath through the belly from the support of the earth. And slowly releasing, stacking hands. We'll then bring the right leg into what's called half frog, which is kind of like tree pose on the belly. We bend the right knee and bring the knee off the mat to the right. And then we let the inside of the right foot rest down to the ground. In this posture, you can then rest your forehead to your hands. And we're looking for softness here, no strength necessary. Surrender your front body down to the earth and feel no strength behind the shoulders, no strength in the right gluteal or low back. Let your breath become more nurturing, soft and relaxed, supporting your half frog pose. Bring the right leg back to meet the left leg. Switching sides. We bring the left leg into half frog pose, bending the left knee and bringing the knee off the mat to the left. The inside of the left foot rests down to the earth. Again, this is a posture requiring no strength. Exploring what that feels like. We begin with the belly and the front body, just surrendering to the earth, melt down to the ground. With that support of the earth beneath us, our shoulders and back body can relax. The low back and left hip can soften. The breath may slow and become more of a restful, nurturing breath. Extending the left leg long. Using our hands to just slowly lift us up into hands and knees position. Drawing feet to one side and out in front of us, just long enough to roll onto our backs. Rolling back, knees to chest. A soft sway side to side. We can then return hands to Chinmaya Mudra, thumb and index finger touch, a gentle fist with the other 3 fingers. Bring those arms out to the side, palms down. And we'll take both knees over to the right, gazing to the left. Little strength here, left shoulder heavy to the earth. Knees come through center and then over to the left. Right shoulder stays heavy to the earth. Knees come back to center. Hands to the knees, you might find knees to chest, or maybe some happy baby. Just kind of noticing what it is your body is looking for before it comes into Shavasana. And then in your own time, transitioning into your Shavasana. So that might be constructive rest where we began. You might lie flat on the earth with a pillow under your knees. Find your legs up the wall. If you are taking care of some lower back discomfort, I encourage you to place your legs up on a blanket or on a couch or a chair so you're in a position similar to this with support under the legs. The idea is that you find yourself in a comfortable position, using blankets as necessary. So just take a moment, find yourself restful on your back. I'll be seated. You'll be in Shavasana. Closing the eyes, finding stillness. As you find yourself in this comfortable position, once again, relax. Support the earth behind your body. Feel that support of the earth. Shoulders rest down, legs and spine soften and melt to the earth. From surrendering to earth, the heart space softens and opens. The belly is soft. The legs and feet are soft. Without getting involved with the things going on around you, you can feel a soft awareness. It might be a soft awareness of the sounds in your home, a soft awareness of the thoughts in your head, or the feelings in your heart. But soft, it's just awareness. You acknowledge that they still exist. And from this awareness, we add the and. This exists in the world, and I can be in the practice of embodied wisdom. All these things can exist, and I can be grounded in my body, grounded in my breath, able to respond with clear choice. Resting for the next few minutes in silence, exploring what this and
My shoulder. Lay my hand. Yeah.
begin to find some soft movement in your fingers and toes. And take a long stretch overhead through the body. With eyes remaining closed, rock over to your right side and use your hands to lift up into seated meditation pose. Just a few breaths here in seated pose. Once again, returning hands to Chinmaya Mudra, thumb tip to index fingertip, a soft fist with the other 3 fingers. The hands are face down on the knees, the spine is tall. This is a gesture of embodied wisdom. As a collective, let's take 3 steady breaths together in your body's own time. We then feel the palms touch in front of the heart and open our eyes with a soft gaze to our fingertips. There is a light in my heart, and it bows with honor and gratitude to the light in each of your hearts. Namaste.